Welcome to the 2016 Dakar. Today is the podium in Buenos Aires. It's been 350 days since the winners were crowned in 2015, but right now that means nothing. This is where we start again. The Odyssey all kicks off here on the 2nd of January with an electric and passionate atmosphere at the podium in Buenos Aires. This year was sport for choice, with potential stage and overall winners in all 4 classes. Some champions have moved on, others have returned, while new, young and vibrantly fast competitors litter the field, hoping to make their mark in Dakar history. There'll be navigation, there'll be technical stages with dunes and sand, off-road portions, and there will be altitude. That'll play an important role. For 4 days, we'll be between 3,600 and 4,500 metres. Very difficult race conditions. The Dakar will be the highest race in the world. We expect a lot of people, a lot of passion, a big crowd. It's been like that for the last 8 years, and it's very flattering for us to organise a competition with so much enthusiasm and passion. But Mother Nature was not happy with the eastern provinces of Argentina. Tough conditions for the start of the Dakar. The weather was horrific for stage 1 of the event, forcing the organisers to cancel the special heading to Villa Carlos Paz. So it really began on stage 2, and it was Joan Barreda who opened the road. It's always a big task, but on the fast routes it was perhaps not such a task as normal. But it was the mud that slowed Barreda, as his bike stalled whilst he was still leading on the road. By the end, he'd lost 3 minutes to the fastest riders and given himself a hole to dig out of, which is ironically what cost him time on the first stage. Ruben Faria on the new Husqvarna had great speed all day and diced the overall stage win and lead of the rally from start to finish. Somehow he seems rejuvenated, and leading the team has given him a push back to the very top of Rally Raid. Many though, the Dakar began with a horrendous mud bath. One year ago, Toby Price started his first ever stage of the Dakar, and after stage 2, he led the race outright. Fast he may be, but he never looks hurried as he crosses great swathes of the Argentinian countryside. The surprise of the first day was Stefan Svitko. The first true private entry has finished 5th twice. 3rd place on the first real test set him up very nicely to run with the fastest men all week. Kicked off well in the bikes. The WRC is an extreme championship in the world of motorsport. Ari Vatanen and Juha Kankinen, the Flying Finns, were the first WRC drivers to race on the Dakar. Colin McRae raced in 2004 and 2005. Carlos Sainz is the most successful of the last decade, winning the Dakar in 2010 with Volkswagen. This year we've got 4 WRC drivers at the start of the Dakar: Sebastian Loeb, Mikko Iivonen, Martin Prokop, and of course Carlos Sainz. The World Rally Championship is a good base to start racing in Rally Raid, but the drivers can find it difficult to adapt to the Dakar.
It's not easy, I have to take some time to get used to it. Very, very fast section, and you could go 6 gear for many kilometers, but there's some crests all the time, and they are straight, but when you don't know that and you slow down a little bit, you get frustrated a bit, and like I've slowed down for that one as well, but it's the same for everybody. Just have to remember that and stay cool.
For me, the biggest problem is the navigation. The driving the car is just more heavier. It has not so much power, but it's just a car. The rest is new for me, and I have to try as fast as possible how to use it.
The 9-time World Rally champion Sebastian Loeb is dealing with the same kind of difficulties as his colleagues. It's true that in the very long stage it's not the same story. We're in it for quite a while. We're not on the edge as often we are in WRC. Anyway, it's very demanding for concentration. You need to look far ahead to see if it's opening or closing. You try to see the road to keep some momentum in the turns. It's not easy. It may be difficult, but today Sebastian Loeb won his first stage in the opening one of the Dakar. You call that a great sense of adaptation.
Sa technique est supérieure.
His technique is much better than ours in these kinds of conditions. It was a WRC stage for 400 Ks. It's quite logical that he's in the lead.
I know it. I know if somebody is thinking opposite, that it's not right. He's the best driver in the world, and he was 9-time World Rally Champion, so it has to be like that.
The cars had the same problems as the bikes on day 2. Xavier Pons was the first to be stranded in the mud. It was a stressful moment for the Spanish WRC specialist, who managed to capture second spot in the short prologue in his Ford. At the end of the stage, he'd lost over an hour and a half. The next to struggle was 2014 champion Nani Roma. It was a nightmare for the Catalan, stuck for almost 40 minutes. Stage 2, and already a major setback for Roma. I'm going to try and find some help to get us out of here. I was going on the right, but there were a lot of people, and then I ended up getting stuck here in the mud. On a stage apparently made for four-wheel drive vehicles, Stefan Petterhansel was impressive, mud or no. But, as we said, Sébastien Loeb learnt rapidly. And it's not really a surprise. The Frenchman performed outstandingly on the way to Termas. A first real special at the Dakar for the 9-time champion, and his first victory. I drove at my rhythm. I didn't know if it was good enough. I'm surprised at the finish to see I had the best time. For the moment, it's a great start to the rally. It's really encouraging for this car, a buggy, on these types of tracks. I was expecting to be behind the four-wheel drive cars. It's really encouraging finally, but now we open the way. We'll be first. It's going to be tough. It's not only in the cars where new talent has arrived. There are 10 world titles between the three of these men in the bikes. Pelle René, Ivan Cervantes and Antoine Meo are suddenly rookies again for the 2016 Dakar. It's an all-new world for the three enduro specialists. I've been planning to come on the Dakar for many years, but in a car because I was afraid to do it on a bike. It's an opportunity and I want to make the best of it. For me it's magnificent. It's a dream come true. But they're racing in enduro, a lot can happen, but I think on a rally raid it could be far worse. It's true that an enduro rider is a little bit like a WRC driver. Technically speaking, in terms of driving, he can pretty much do anything. The greatest difficulty they're going to meet is to drive in the dust of another rider. That's not something they're used to in a special stage. They'll have to deal with this parameter. Take some risks when it will be necessary, but not all day long. The second tough thing for them will be the navigation. Trust Monsieur Dakar when he says so. You better be ready. Navigation is the key. To start with, it's really difficult. They just give you a piece of paper and you have to go and figure it out yourself. It's really tough. If you can't navigate, you can't drive fast. And if you don't have the right reflexes, it's even harder. For the moment, I'm in a learning phase. I'm trying to do my best.
Your eyes is in the long distance, but in the few seconds, it's a short distance for looking the next step with your roadbook, no? And I think it's really difficult. Go very fast and to understand this one, no?
With their level of riding, the enduro riders have the skills to go very fast on the Dakar. But to win a stage, you need a lot of experience to avoid the tricks of the road. We feel that we could go faster than we're actually doing. The problem is that you say to yourself, no, stay as you are, it's okay, it's going to be very long, but you want to push more and more, and that's when it gets dangerous. I always said that maybe one day I can win this race, or even take the start line, but I thought that would be later.
Déjà, c'est d'arriver au bout.
My goal is to go to the end in one piece and to be in the top 10. It will be great. Better than 10 would be amazing. Setting off through the lush forest of the province of Santiago del Estero, he was back to the grind and back on the warpath on stage 3. Joan Barreda put his previous day's mud adventure behind him to blaze a trail to the top of the timesheets, from 7th on the road before a penalty was applied for speeding that dropped him to 5th. Gonçalves on the other Honda started ahead of Barreda on the road, pluming dust behind him and perhaps lighting the way for his teammate to close in, and he finished behind him. And he had a few words for his teammate once they reached the finish. I was riding behind. Are you kidding me? You can do that once more. And no, I was going to overtake. Anyway, the good thing is, we'll talk later. Splitting the two work spikes was the astonishing form of Kevin Benavides. He began the day behind Barreda and finds himself at the end of stage 3 leading the standings with the penalties that were handed out. How long will the fairy tale last for the rookie, especially with the marathon stages looming? Back to the cars, and let's take our first good look at Gilles de Villiers. He's calm and solid. That's how he conquered his first Dakar crown in 2009. So far, he's doing that again, despite this slight slide. On stage 3, despite a slow puncture at the end of the special, he claimed a good 4th spot, and that moved him up to 2nd overall. The stage should have suited title holder Nasser Al-Attiyah, but there wasn't much he could do against the Peugeot strongmen, and he had to settle for 3rd spot. But like the day before, Sebastian Loeb was flying. The Dakar newcomer was very impressive, untouchable in fact. Despite taking off first, he clocked the best time to win at all the checkpoints, and eventually got a 2nd consecutive stage win, besting his teammate Sainz yet again.
Supersport